Father God, we thank you, we honor you for all that you have done for us, all that you are doing for us, Father God. Thank you for your Shabbat day. As we continue, Father God, from day to day, may you continue to give us wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, that we may continue to progress, Father God, to grow in you. You said that it is your esteem, Father God, to conceal the matter, but it is royalty's esteem in order to search it out. So as we search out the things that are of you, Father God, that are not in plain sight, and you give us the discernment to know what is of you and what is not. Pray for your protection, Father God, from those things seen and unseen. But we know that in you we have protection. You are our shield and our buckler, our strong rock and our refuge, O Yahweh. Thank you, Abiyah. We pray for you to cover our sins, our transgressions, and our iniquities, not only of us, but of those of our forefathers and foremothers. That we be the generation, Abiyah, to correct their wrongs and to redeem our lineages. May you protect those who are on their way, not only to this gathering, but throughout the four corners of the earth, so all those who are observing your Shabbat on this day, Father God. May that day come where we are all on one accord. We are all worshiping the one true Elohim, Elohim Abraham, Elohim Yitzhak, or Elohim Yaakov, the Elohim of Abraham, Elohim of Isaac, Elohim of Jacob, you, Yahuwah Zebah. And that day comes soon, but we are redeemed from the curses, redeemed from this land of our captivity, and restored back unto you. Praise your set apart name with all of our heart, all of our soul, and all of our might. We say hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Now we have our ordinance. Key was give. After that, we'll have the commandments read down. I don't shall Shema.
So our first ordinance is coming from Shabbat, chapter 19, verses 1 to 8. Hey, can y'all hear me on the Zoom?
Okay,
Shabbat, chapter 19, verses 1 through 8. In the third month, when the children of Israel were gone forth out of the land of Mizraim, the same day came they into the wilderness of Sinai. For they were departed from Rephidim and were come to the desert of Sinai, and had pitched in the wilderness, and there Israel camped before the mountain. And Moshe went up unto Yahuwah, and Yahuwah called him unto out of the mountain, saying, thus shalt thou say to the house of Jacob, and tell the children of Israel, ye have seen what I did unto the Mizraim, and how I bare you on eagle's wings, and brought you unto myself. Now therefore, if ye will obey my voice indeed, and keep my covenant, then ye shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all the people, for all the earth is mine. And ye shall be unto me a kingdom of priests, and a set apart nation. These are the words which thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel. And Moshe came and called for the elders of the people, and laid before their faces all these words which Yahuwah commanded him. And all the people answered together and said, all that Yahuwah hath spoken, we will do. And Moshe returned the words of the people unto Yahuwah. Now we'll be moving forward to Vayikra, commonly called Leviticus chapter 26, verses 40 through 46. And it reads, if they shall confess the iniquities of their fathers, with their trespass, which they trespassed against me, and that also they have walked contrary unto me, and that I have also walked contrary unto them, and have brought them into the land of their enemies. If then their uncircumcised hearts be humble, and they then accept of the punishment of their iniquity, then will I remember my covenant with Jacob, and also my covenant with Yitzhak, and also my covenant with Abraham will I remember, and I will remember the land. The land also shall be left to them, and shall enjoy her Shabbats, while she lieth desolate without them, and they shall accept of the punishment of their iniquity, because even they despise my judgments, and because their soul abhorred my statutes, and yet for all that, when they be in the land of their enemies, I will not cast them away, neither will I abhor them to destroy them utterly, and to break my covenant with them. For I am Yahuwah their El. But I will, for their sakes, remember the covenant of their ancestors, of whom I brought forth out of the land of Israel, in the sight of the heathen, that I might be their El. I am Yahuwah. These are the statutes and judgments and laws which Yahuwah made between him and the children of Israel at Mount Sinai by the hand of Moshe. Hallelujah. Well, commonly called Ezekiel, chapter 36, verses 22 to 28. All right. Verse 22. Therefore, say unto the house of Israel, thus says Yahuwah, I do not this for your sakes, O house of Israel, but for my set apart name's sake, which ye have profaned among the heathen, whither ye went. And I will sanctify my great name, which was profaned among the heathen, which ye have profaned in the midst of them. And the heathen shall know that I am Yahuwah, saith Yahuwah Elohim, when I shall be sanctified in you before their eyes. For I will take you from among the heathen, and gather you out of all countries, and will bring you into your own land. Then I will sprinkle clean water upon you, and ye shall be clean from all your filthiness, and from all your idols will I cleanse you. A new heart also will I give you, and a new ruach will I put within you. And I will take away the stony heart of your flesh, and I will give you an heart of flesh. And I will put my ruach within you, and cause you to walk in my statutes, and ye shall keep my judgments and do them. And ye shall dwell in the land that I gave to your fathers. Ye shall be my people, and I will be your El. Hallelujah.
I take a man by Shashmon.
I'll be reading from Shemot, commonly called Exodus, chapter 20, starting from verse 1. Again, I'll be reading from Shemot, commonly called Exodus, chapter 20, starting from verse 1. Now Elohim spoke all these words, saying, I, Yah, the Elohim, just brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other mighty ones before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in the heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them or serve them. For I, Yah, the Elohim, am jealous of thee, visiting the iniquity of fathers upon the children to the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, who showeth mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. Thou shalt not take the name of Yahuwah thy Elohim in vain, for Yahuwah will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain. Remember the Shabbat day to keep it set apart. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. 7 days the Shabbat day of Yah thy Elohim. In it thou shalt not do any work. Thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, nor thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. For in 6 days Yah made the heaven, the earth, the sea, and all that in them is. The rest is the seventh day. Wherefore Yah blessed the Shabbat day and holiday. Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which Yah the Elohim giveth thee. Thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his donkey, nor anything that is thy neighbor.
Yeah. Shema Israel, Yahuwah Elohim, Yahuwah Echad. We have to act Yahuwah Elohim, we call Levavka, people call Nefesh, people call Meodim. Hear and obey Israel. Yahuwah our El, Yahuwah is one. You should love Yahuwah your Elohim with all of your heart, with all of your soul, and with all of your mind. Now we're going to our Hallelujah portion, preceded by my Hallelujah belongs to you. 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 And you deserve it. 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 My hallelujah. My hallelujah belongs to you. 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 Hallelujah. Okay. Hallelujah portion. As we all know, it's time to praise the Most High. Something that the Most High has revealed to you, to reveal to us, when you way that you like to express yourself. That's the time to do so. So anyone with the hallelujah.
Shabbat Shalom, Mr. Khan.
Shabbat Shalom.
I want to give praise to y'all. First for waking me up this morning. Getting through the traffic. Also want to thank you for making me uncomfortable. Because certain things that I'm doing, it's not sin, it's just daily routines. And I noticed that certain things that I'm doing, such as work and school, he's making me uncomfortable. So I have to force myself to change. So I want to say, Torah about that for forcing me to go higher and basically expand myself, spiritually and also, I guess you could say academically.
Hallelujah. Growth comes from discomfort. Anyone else with a hallelujah? Thank you.
Shabbat Shalom, Mr. Khan.
Shalom.
Basically, what Shashmar said, that's real. 'Cause I'm a creature of habit. I love habit. But the Most High has been configuring some things in my life, pretty much getting me out of myself and my daily routine and what I got going on. He's rerouting stuff. So I just want to give praise to the Most High for another Shabbat being here, seeing you all, just being in the midst.
Hallelujah. Anybody else with a hallelujah? Anybody online with a hallelujah? Just want to give a hallelujah for Mr. Don't Said Life. Guess the aspect is for common thread is growth, the aspect of being in a position where it is uncomfortable to kind of step out there to be seen as very different, peculiar. That's the type of people supposed to be. So can't run from who you are. Told out to the Most High for Maisha and all that she does. All that she does. It's necessary and very appreciated. Shout out God to the Most High, because I know probably my sister won't do it. My sister's birthday, this is her 36. Yeah, so she turns 36 this year. So all praise for her. Another cycle for her life. Told out for all of you all. May the Most High continue to bless this Mishpachah and to elevate us all together. Wherever we are, may we continue to grow level by level. So hallelujah. Anybody else with the hallelujah? No. Okay. Well, time for Torah portion. Hope y'all giving hallelujah like y'all morning prayer or something like that for those who don't know excuse. At least some point in time, praise your creator. All right, so this speech portion, I forgot to put it up here. I'll put it up here now. Is Wayirah, which is and he appeared, which is in the book of Bereshit, commonly called Genesis, chapter 18, starting at chapter 18.
Wait, chapter 18, starting at verse 18?
No, chapter 18, starting at verse 1. Exactly. Bereshit, commonly called Genesis, chapter 18, starting at verse 1 through 22. I believe is 24. And he appeared.
How you pronounce it?
You can. Wayirah. And he appeared. Bereshit 22. Bereshit 18. I'm just getting this. I can't. Chapter 18. So, and Yahuwah appeared unto him in the plains of Mamre, and he sat in the tent door in the heat of the day. He lifted up his eyes and looked, and lo, 3 men stood by him. And when he saw them, he ran to meet them from the tent door and bowed himself toward the ground. And said, My Adonai, if now I have found favor in your sight, pass not away. I pray you from your servant. Let a little water, I pray you, be fetched to wash your feet and rest yourselves under the tree. And I will fetch a morsel of bread and comfort ye in your heart comfort ye your hearts. After that ye shall pass on. For therefore are ye come to your servant, and they said, So do as you said. And Abraham hasted into the tent unto Sarah, and said, Make ready quickly 3 measures of fine meal, beat it, and make cakes upon the earth. Abraham ran unto the herd, and fetched a calf, tender and good, and gave it unto a young man. He hastened to dress it. And he took butter and milk and the calf which he had dressed, and set it before them. And he stood by them under the tree, and they did eat. So we see a couple of things being taken care of, right? One is Abraham, so the hospitality of Abraham, right? So Abraham was sitting in the tent of his door, which he normally does. They say he did this for 2 reasons. One, for meditation. So we do meditate. And then 2, for the aspect of seeing who would come by the way. Because Abraham didn't live in the city necessarily, right? He lived on the outskirts of the city. So anybody who would come by his way, he would make sure that they were taken care of as they passed through. So we see the hospitality of Abraham. 2, do you see anything? Well, what do y'all see? Verses 1 through 8.
A couple of things. Him running into the tent and telling Sarah what to make, and she's making it without any extra words. The other part is once he gave them all this stuff, he kind of just stood there with them.
Okay. Think about it.
mean, didn't see that he paid homage to him. He bowed himself.
And said, Yahuwah appeared to him by the tree
Mhm.
while he was sitting there.
So did he know that it was Yahweh?
Well, he just lifted his eyes and looked and saw three men. So maybe no.
You said he bowed down to the ground, you said. Yeah, that word is shakah. Which means to bow down or to prostrate one for superior in homage before Elohim in worship. What is do with those two before false Elohim?
That kind of states that he was in position. So in his meditation, he was in position.
So we see, so Abraham, he went to war with how many servants again in the last? When he went to go get Lot back, how many servants did he have with him? 318, right? So why couldn't Abraham have told one of the 318 servants at least he had in his house? 318. One of them servants would be like, yo, I need you to go tell Sarah this. I need you to go get this calf and go get this milk, and then y'all make it and then come and serve us. Couldn't do that?
He could.
Well, why didn't he?
I'm confused. It's hard.
Okay, so what I'm saying is Abraham had at least 318 servants in his house.
Right.
Now, normally you see movies where people are in a high status, right? Like Abraham was pretty much king. You
Yeah.
see a king, right? Does a king get up off his throne and go and make moves like that?
No.
He tells his servants to, right? So why didn't Abraham do that? And the dog said because of his leg or his heart. Okay, he had a heart of a servant.
I know some scripture, I think it's in Deuteronomy,
Uh-huh.
where it talks about when the men go to war, if one of the men is if he's fearful, don't know what the other men is, that fear will jump off on the other men. So maybe it works in the opposite way too. If you have the leader who's not fearful, he'll take his lead. He's, well, I'm not scared because he's not scared, and then kind of like, domino effect.
Okay, so what you're saying is just to coordinate it. It's saying that because of the servitude that Abraham had, his servants will have that same servitude as well. Because they see their master or dog serving, bowing down, as the dog said, bowing down, which means services that word is really to paying homage or worship. So doing that and then going in and getting the stuff, and even his Isha doing the same thing as my Isha said without complaint. So you see a house of servitude, right? All right, verse 9. And they said unto him, where is Sarai your woman? And he said, behold, in the tent. And he said, I will certainly return unto you according to the time of life. And lo, Sarai your woman shall have a son. And Sarai heard it in the tent door, which was behind him. Now Abraham and Sarai were old and well stricken in age, and it ceased to be with Sarai after the manner of women. Therefore Sarai laughed within herself, saying, after I am waxed old, shall I have pleasure, my Lord also being old. And Yahuwah said unto Abraham, wherefore did Sarai laugh, saying, shall I of a surety bear a child which am old? Is there anything too hard for Yahuwah? At the time appointed, I will return unto you according to the time of life. And Sarai shall have a son. And Sarai denied, saying, I laughed not, for she was afraid. And he said, nay, you did laugh. So, a couple of things here, right? You see the customs of our culture. I'm gonna keep asking y'all. So, what do y'all see as far as customs of our culture so far? Oh, my fault. We are in the book of Genesis, chapter 18, and I read verse 9 through 15. Yeah, Genesis 18. Next time I'll read it, it'll be 16, but I just read 9 through 15. So, what do y'all see as far as cultural practices that y'all may be aware of? From the beginning of the chapter to what I just read. Yes, sir.
Childbearing was like a young age. They had children early on, and not having children was like was seen as, being barren was seen as a bad thing. In a way.
For sure. Okay, anything else? If anybody ever been, I ain't say that. I say.
Please, sir, please.
So anybody who ever been to the east, anybody who's ever been to the east will know this particular custom. Shabbat shalom, Makot Lynette. Shabbat shalom to everybody online. I know I didn't say that yet. Shabbat shalom. If you've been to the east, you know this custom based on what we just read.
All right, so
Hmm?
women are not.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Women are not.
I'm saying, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, so yeah, I see that. So the women are not necessarily in the conversation of the men or what's going on in the business. Even though she was being nosy, which we'll get to now. Women are very nosy, but that's not necessarily the point. There's enough, come on, y'all. I got- Oh, we got hands up. I'm about to say, I don't see no, everybody that says Shabbat shalom. They don't ever want to answer my question online. I don't understand why they don't want to answer my question. Cause,
Can you repeat the question, please?
see, I knew y'all would be the first one to unmute. That's why I love y'all. I said, when you read verses 1 through 15, right? What is a custom of the East that you see implementing here, or that you see being carried out here?
Okay, I see the custom of hospitality. Yeah, I see that custom and that you know, they quickly would make provision for the stranger or guest that was coming into their tent. And they didn't just, you know, they went all out right here. I mean, he told her to go and fetch a tender calf and dress it. And, you know, they had a good, nice, fine meal, it says, you know, well, it says that they had bread and all kinds of good stuff. So they treated their visitors with hospitality.
Absolutely, Mom. So he went into the tent. He told Sarah, "Look, I need y'all to hook up some curry goat with some unleavened bread." And then, go ahead, G. What happened?
Now, I was about to say, I can attest to that, because when I was in the Middle East, around the Arabs, you greet the man and you ask him, hey, how's your family? You don't ask him and then ask his woman, you ask him, hey, how's your family? That's pretty much how you carry it.
Okay, so I know, all right, so let me just go ahead and break it down, right? So yes, the hospitality, right? I thought Imam was gonna work toward it, right? So you get the hospitality, and then all of a sudden, so we're eating, we're having fun, and then boom, now we get to business, right? So the a custom of the East is we don't do business. If you come to my house, before we take care of any business, I'm gonna ask you, do you want to eat? And if you eat, and we sit down and we enjoy our food first. That's what the East is. Like if you were to meet like an Asian or somebody like that, and you went to their house, and you were trying to get a contract or something like that. If they ask you, do you want something to eat? And you say no, not getting that contract. That's just what it is, because they take that as disrespect. So we feed first, we make sure you straight, your belly good. Now we get to business. Same thing they did. Abraham made sure that they ate and all of that. They didn't say no, we ain't worried about that. We're selling. It was like, okay, whatever you said, cool. We're gonna do that, we're gonna eat. All right, now that we ate and we all good. Now we don't like that, by the way. Well, we're gonna give her, I'm gonna come by. All right, second question, now that we're going there, right? So verse 10 says, then one of them said, look, I'm gonna come by according to time of life, and I'm gonna give Sarah a baby. Then all of a sudden, Sarah's gonna bear a son. Then verse 13 comes, and then all of a sudden it says, Yahuwah says, now why does Sarah laugh? I will visit her according to the time of life, and she's gonna bear a child.
So this whole conversation is in his head after that part.
Why do you think it's him?
Because it's like the men are talking, then the Most High confirms things within you. Right? Oh my goodness, problems. If you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. All of this is playing out in front Like, it's not a mental,
Well, he said to Abraham, why did you laugh?
yeah, because the Most High can hear Sarah, because she's in the front of the tent.
Yeah, but
Yeah, that was,
it's the way that it kind of
I'm
plays
gonna
out.
keep putting that out. I get what you're saying,
Because
right?
the men kind of already said what they said, then they repeated what they said, and then they just kept it moving.
Okay, so I'm gonna take that, and then, so, the Most High, so verse 10 says that one of them said, right? And then Sarah laughs, so
Within herself.
she laughs within herself, the Most High hears, and the Most High now stamps. So, for example, when you read in Leviticus, he said, and you shall honor your father and your mother, for I am Yahuwah. Or he says, this shall, you shall honor the gray head, right? You shall honor the gray head. I am Yahuwah. He stamps it as in you need to do this because I said so. So it's more of a confirmation. But it just wasn't in his head. That's why I was saying. It wasn't in his head. It was more of an outside. So the Most High says that I will do this. So now they understand, right? All right, let's keep going. Verse 16. Okay. And the man rose up from thence and looked toward Sodom. And Abraham went with them to bring them on the way. And Yahuwah said, shall I hide from Abraham that thing which I do? Seeing that Abraham shall surely become a great and mighty nation, and all the nations of the earth shall be blessed in him. For I know that he will command his children and his household after him, and they shall keep the way of Yahuwah to do justice and judgment, that Yahuwah may bring unto Abraham that which he has spoken. Yeah. Something very interesting in this particular passage. All right. Verse 17 through 19. What do y'all see? We're in Genesis, I think you know song, but I'll say it anyway. Genesis 18. Right now we're talking about verses 17 through 19. Says that Yahuwah said, shall I hide from Abraham the thing which I do, seeing that Abraham shall surely become a great and mighty nation, and all the nations of the earth shall be blessed in him. For I know him, that he will command his children and his household after him, and they shall keep the way of Yahuwah to do justice and judgment, that Yahuwah may bring upon Abraham that which he has spoken of him. Shabbat shalom by Yisrael Yosef.
I think it's kind of hard to see, but I think he's basically saying if he leaves them alone, but he doesn't, tell them step by step what to watch what he's doing. Because he knows that he's right then.
I get what you're saying.
I was gonna say, Abraham at this point is already a man of faith. It says 17, and Yahuwah said, shall I hide from Abraham that thing which I do? Pretty much, I think y'all was saying, that's what I get from it. That he's gonna do what he's gonna do openly to Abraham to increase his faith even more. That's what I get.
I get what you're
You
saying.
see what I'm saying?
Yeah, that if he tells him what he's doing, so on and so forth, then he'll have more belief.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. All right. Anybody else? Anybody online? Y'all don't want to talk, it's okay. All right, so he said, for I know him that he will command his family, right? So there's a word there, right, which is ma'am. So when it says, for I know him that he will command, what he's saying is, for I know him for the purpose of, so I'm intimate with Abraham for the purpose of him teaching his family, right? For the purpose of him teaching his family and his household after him. And they shall keep the way of Yahuwah once they are taught to do justice and judgment. For the purpose that Yah may bring upon Abraham that which he has spoken of him, to him. What does that mean? that Yahuwah may bring upon Abraham that which he has spoken of.
Hello? Shalom.
Yeah, Karen, slow him up.
Yeah, is that according to the promise that he had given him already in Genesis, like from 12 to 15? You know, he was telling him that he may bring upon Abraham that which he has spoken of him, that which he had told him that he would make him a great nation, that if when he numbered the sand of the sea, you know, and Abraham didn't have any, well, he did have offspring, but it wasn't the promised offspring.
Karen. Yes. Yes, Karen.
I think maybe he's trying to show him what he about to do to this nation, you know, and this is what happens when they are commanded, you know, in the way of righteousness and judgment.
Say that last part.
I said, that he was showing him that he, you know, how he would destroy a nation that's not built upon righteousness or, you know what I mean? They forget it.
No, I got what I'm saying. That, okay, all right. So let me kind of bring clarity, right? So the Most High said, "For I know him for the purpose of." So I am intimately walking with Abraham, so that he will teach his children righteousness, right? And that they will keep the way. They will keep the way of Yah. They will keep the way of Yah to do justice and judgment, for the purpose of giving Abraham what I promised him, which means that we have a job to do in order for the promise of Abraham to be fulfilled. That right now, the promise of Abraham is not fulfilled. So he has not fulfilled his promise to Abraham because we're not doing what we're supposed to do. Once again, it said, they will keep the way of God to do justice and judgment. So that word right there for that is le'amah, for the purpose or to the end that, or for the intent. So by you keeping justice and judgment, the purpose of you doing that is for the promise of Abraham to be fulfilled. But if you don't do that, then the promise of Abraham is not fulfilled. Therefore, there's something, the Most High has yet to keep his word to Abraham. But it's because of you. If y'all don't get it, we'll keep going now.
Which,
Okay, all right. We at Genesis 18, starting at verse 20.
Okay, I asked Dr. Pickett here, so I kind of knew that.
And Abraham said, because the cry of Sodom and Gomorrah is great, and because their sin is very grievous, I will go down and see whether they have done altogether according to the cry of it, which has come unto me. And if not, I will know it. And the men turned their faces from thence and went towards Sodom, but Abraham stood yet before Yahuwah. And Abraham drew near and said, will you also destroy the righteous with the wicked? Peradventure there be 50 righteous within the city. Will you also destroy and not spare the place for the 50 righteous that are within? That be far from you to do after this manner, to slay the righteous with the wicked, and that the righteous shall be as the wicked. That be far from you. Shall you not judge of all, shall not the judge of all the earth do right? And Yahuwah said, if I find in Sodom 50 righteous within the city, then I will spare all the place for their sins. And Abraham answered and said, behold now, I have taken upon me to speak unto Adonai, which am but dust and ashes. Peradventure, there shall lack 5 of the 50 righteous. Will you destroy all the city for lack of 5? And he said, if I find there 40 and 5, I will not destroy it. And he spoke again unto him. He spoke again unto him, yet again, said, peradventure, there shall be 40 found there. And he said, I will not destroy it for 47. And he said unto him, oh, let not Adonai be angry, and I will speak. Peradventure there be 30 found. And he said, I will not do it, if I find 30 there. And he said, behold now, I have taken upon me to speak unto Adonai. Peradventure there be 20 found there. And he said, I will not destroy it for 27. And he said, oh, let not Adonai be angry, and I will speak yet but this once. Peradventure 10 be found there. And he said, I will not destroy it for 10's sake. And Yahuwah went his way as soon as he had left communing with Abraham. And Abraham returned to his place.
Why he just didn't say, can you say Lot in there? That's when he was getting mad.
Okay, but, yes, that's kind of.
Say by him.
Okay, so, but he started with 50. So my question is, what do you see going on?
I guess I would say I see him, in my mind advocating for his family that is in that area, that he knows is in that area. And in a sense, maybe trying to see how bad the wrath of Elohim is at that moment.
Okay, so with that being said, yes. Hey,
Oh, no, you're
no,
fine. Okay, so, what I see is same thing like what she was saying, but also the fact that anyone that Jesus righteous. The ones that are righteous, they keep even today,
Mhm.
we're keeping will be destroyed.
Hey, and we are the salt of the earth. Hey, preservation. Okay, Kevin, so
One
when do
person
you,
can save the whole
Huh?
state and area destroyed,
absolutely,
or you just be saved.
okay,
Said shall hide whatever. So regardless of what he was gonna tell him, what he was going to do, but it was for Abraham to kind of seek out exactly, think with his family or what was gonna come with his family. But he said he wasn't gonna do it without telling him anything.
okay, cool, now back to the point of him, yes. Now you go ahead.
And I know it's probably not that when we can't really answer our question, would be like, if Abraham was doing what he was doing, the interceding for his family, right? He got there a lot, was a little bit off track. Do you think Abraham's intercession could have still saved like his family if they were not doing this?
Hypothetically speaking, I'm gonna say yes, based on what we read about Lot a little bit later. And his fruit or offspring. I'll say yes. So, so the Most High says that he would teach his children to do justice and judgment. Right? Then he tells him that Sodom and Gomorrah, they wicked down there, I'm gonna destroy everything. So that Abraham does exactly what the Most High intends for him to do, which is intercede not only for his family, but for the righteous that are there. If there are righteous there, Most High, will you destroy everybody because of that? And I'll go down all the way to the, as a dog, more group would say, the least 10 is the lowest unit of wealth, right? So that's why you got officers of 10, officers of 50, okay. So 10 is the lowest unit of wealth. So he said there are 10 people in there when you destroy it. He said no. So Abraham is interceding on behalf of the righteous so that Most High knows that if you do this and you teach your children to do this, then there will be mercy, but there will also be judgment. Because Abraham doesn't tell them not to destroy the place, does he? No, he just said just don't destroy the wicked with the righteous. Yeah. Okay, so let's go to chapter 19. And there came two angels to Sodom at evening, and Lot sat in the gate of Sodom. And Lot, seeing them, rose up to meet them. And he bowed himself with his face toward the ground. And he said, behold, now, my lords, turn in, I pray you, unto your servant's house. Tarry all night and wash your feet, and ye shall rise early and go on your way. And they said, nay, we will abide in the street all night. And he pressed them greatly. They turned in unto him and entered into his house. He did make them a feast and did bake unleavened bread, and they did eat. So Lot learned from his, well, first of all, why is he in the gate? Who's usually in the gates of cities? Judges, watchmen, elders, kings. Kings you see in 1 Kings chapter 22, elders, Proverbs chapter 31, and elders, judges will also be with Proverbs 31. Everybody's at the gate, right? He learned from his forefather or uncle Abraham hospitality. Because he also tells him to come to the house, right? He also makes jerk chicken and other. They have a feast. I'm saying they have a feast. Anyway, okay. So verse 4, let's go. But before they lay down, the men of the city, even the men of Sodom, compassed the house round, both old and young, all the people from every quarter. And they called unto Lot and said unto him, where are the men which came in to you this night? Bring them out unto us that we may know them. And Lot went out at the door unto them and shut the door after him, and said, I pray you, brethren, do not so wickedly. Behold now, I have 2 daughters which have not known man. Let me, I pray you, bring them out unto you, and do ye to them as is good in your eyes. Only unto these men do nothing. But therefore came they under the shadow of my roof. And they said, stand back. And they said again, this one fellow came in to sojourn, and he will need to be a judge. Now will we deal worse with you than with them. And they pressed sore upon the man even Lot, and came near to break the door. But the men put forth their hand and pulled Lot into the house to them and shut the door. And they smote the men that were at the door of the house with blindness, both small and great, so that they wearied themselves to find the door. And the men said unto Lot, have you here any besides, son-in-law and your sons and your daughters, and whatsoever you have in the city, bring them out of this place. For we will destroy this place, because the cry of them is waxing great before the face of Yahweh. Yahweh has sent us to destroy them. And Lot went out and spoke unto his sons-in-law, which married his daughters, and said, up, get you out of this place, for Yahweh will destroy this city. But he seemed as one that mocked unto his sons. And when the morning arose, then angels hastened Lot, saying, arise, take your woman, and your 2 daughters which are here, lest you be consumed in the iniquity of the city. How many daughters did Lot have?
2.
But 2 or 4?
2.
Why do you say 2? Why you say 2?
I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't know the name, so I'm not gonna lie to you. I know after this happened, they go to the mountains. I only remember 2 of them in the.
Okay, well it says, and Lot went out and spoke unto his sons-in-law, which married his daughters. So were the 2 that were there, were the 2 that went with him in verse 15, were they married?
No, I don't think they were married, because the sons-in-law.
Oh, so you said the 2 that were not known to him.
The 2 that have never known men, I'll give to you. But you have 2 sons-in-laws.
That means
Oh,
four
okay.
daughters didn't go.
Okay, 4. True.
They
He
said
had,
that
he
they,
had at least 4, but I don't think it said 2 sons-in-laws.
or whatever, the one that son-in-law's wife didn't go.
Okay, the ones that were married did not go.
They,
Why, because their husbands said, okay.
well, their husband he would have been by themselves.
Because of the anashim or the men thought that the father was joking, so they didn't go, so their wives didn't go. But he had 2 women.
Okay, my question is, he went and told his sons-in-law, we don't know if the daughters was there, so they may not have been informed about leaving.
Because if the sons agreed, then they would have told their wives, and they would have went, and the sons didn't agree, so they told their wives nothing. That's why these men are suspects. Let's not go there, but for real, but if they not right, we left hanging.
They don't necessarily say that, though. They just said the sons-in-law were joking, so.
That's it,
They
they
don't
were
necessarily
joking.
mean that they, you know what I'm saying, they didn't.
The next line said, take your wife and your 2, that means the other 2 can't go with you.
Here, it says, and your 2 daughters which are here, and the word, that word is, which are here. Arise and take your 2 daughters which are here, or that are fast. So those that are in this house, those that are still here, those are the ones you take. So the ones that had husbands, they were not there. Which, yes, if the
Sometimes Abraham 10 went down real quick.
Yeah,
His team was left real quick.
okay. It wasn't 10, but it wasn't 10 at all. Okay, because it said that all the men of the city came. All the men of the city went to go and do whatever they were trying to do.
Right.
All right, verse.
Okay, but I just have one question for that. So his daughter, just do whatever you wanna do to the daughters.
Yes.
That's wild. That's real wild.
I think that in his heart, he knew they wasn't gonna take it, but I think his heart was, like, I'm trying to save y'all, cause I already know what's about to go down. I'm trying to save y'all, but they didn't take the big. That's what I think it was.
What if they-
Because I was thinking that too, like, that's real trifling, like, that's wild.
All right,
But
yeah, that's a little hard. Yeah.
I don't know.
Cause can you imagine that conversation coming out, like the daughters talking to Lot, like, why would you say that? Why did you offer us up? You know what I mean? That's a.
But you don't see that they both.
Yeah, you know, they wild.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
both
they were-
simple anyway, but so it feels like y'all can have everything. They
They
simple.
wild now.
Yeah, that's why they weren't married. Anyway, all right, Yahuwah being merciful unto the verse 16. And while he lingered, the man laid hold upon his hand and upon the hand of his woman and upon the hand of his two daughters. Yahuwah being merciful unto him, they brought him forth and set him without the city. And it came to pass that when they had brought them forth abroad, that he said, escape for your life, look not behind you, neither stay in all the plain. Escape to the mountain, lest you be consumed. And Lot said unto them, oh, not so, my Adonai. Behold now, your servant has found grace in your sight. He has magnified your mercy, which you have shown unto me, and saved my life. And I cannot escape to the mountain, lest some evil take me, and I die. Behold now, this city is near to flee unto, and it is a little one. Oh, let me escape there. Is it not a little one? And my soul shall live. And he said unto him, see, I have accepted you concerning this thing, that I will not overthrow this city for which you have spoken. Make haste, escape thither, for I cannot do anything till you are come thither. Therefore, the name of the city was Zoar. So yet, in all of this, he's still trying to go to a city.
Okay, so if the city was that close, was their idea to consume that city along with Sodom and Gomorrah?
Huh?
Was the idea to consume that city along with Sodom and Gomorrah?
Okay, and he consumed 5.
Thanks.
5 cities?
There was 5 cities that were.
So then, I guess my question would be, why did Lot advocate for this city?
Because he likes cities. Yeah, seriously, that he said it's close, it's small. Let me go there.
But if it was wickedness there, he could have still been consumed by wickedness there.
What Lot? Lot?
Yes.
And he was going to be, but that's not the point. The point is, they were specifically supposed to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah, and they destroyed 3 other cities outside of that. But Zoar, they just had to get Lot out somewhere.
Okay.
That's why he said, I can't do anything until you get somewhere. So that's what he chose, and that's and the Malak said, all right, whatever. Yeah. 23. The sun was risen upon the earth when Lot entered into Zoar. Then Yahuwah rained upon Sodom and upon Amor brimstone and fire from Yahuwah out of heaven. And he overthrew those cities, all the plain, and all the inhabitants of the cities, and that which grew upon the ground. But his woman looked back behind him, she became a pillar of salt.
You think that's why his daughters was following him? She had a heart for the city. Cause you know the wife would teach children, so.
Yes. Now my question would be,
But I think it was, from me, like my understanding of the story, more of fearfulness in all of them, like, even a lot, like, if they were telling you to go to the mountains, you should have understood that they was gonna give him enough time, like, it wasn't, if their process was not to consume him and whatever was going on, they was going to make sure he was safe. If they told him to go to the mountain, they would have made provisions for him to get to. And so then his advocating for, oh, let me just go here, kind of shows you, in my opinion, his spiritualness. What are you afraid of? If they showing you what power they have, then why are you afraid to do what they're asking you?
He said why he was afraid that he's gonna die on the way there. That's what he said.
But why? If they were telling you they were protecting him and him to get there, I don't understand what was his fear. And then I think his wife, for some reason, I don't know what she had left back then, but she was fearful in it being gone for some reason. And then his daughters, whatever act they did after that, it was, to me, it just seemed like there was so much fear in this situation, and I don't know what they were afraid of.
So, question, when do we see Lot with the wife?
That's a good question.
When did,
Until they asked him about her, and then she froze the pillow of salt thing, that was the context of the wife.
And the children,
when did Lot get a wife?
I guess when he got to Sodom then.
Okay,
Oh, so her family and stuff was access.
it said, do not look back or do not regard the city. Do not wonder what's going to go on.
Okay. Okay.
She looks back because that's where she's from. Hypothetically speaking, I don't know for sure, but I would say that you don't see Lot with a wife until he gets there.
Correct.
So you see him with the wife and now 4 children. Now she looks back, knowing that the city is going to be destroyed. She looks back and becomes a pillar of salt. So that word there, just to, I guess, build my case, is nafai, which means to look or to regard or to pay attention to.
This is kind of a deep question. Did she still have salvation after she turned to so?
Give me one second. Give me one second.
Yeah.
I don't know how she lived.
Well, clearly,
Because I was thinking if she died, so many times.
that was instant judgment.
Because I was thinking about also, whereas chapter 9, verse 26, where it says, and Yahushua said, a man having put his hand to the plow, looking back to the kingdom of Elohim.
So that's doing the work of the kingdom, right?
Oh,
Yeah, that's doing the work of the kingdom. But why a pillar of salt?
But it doesn't salt preserve things.
But they want that to be preserved?
Yeah, they actually say that the pillar of salt still.
I said, if there was something that was
A reminder.
prior to judgment, why would they want to preserve it?
Preservation of judgment. Go ahead.
I said maybe the Most High wanted to use her as an example. So
Okay, so that whole place, Sodom and Gomorrah, turned into what?
Like present day?
Because it was fire and brimstone, so it was like ashes.
Okay, it was ashes and dust, everything burned up and disintegrated. They said it was like a nuclear type of thing, right? Where when you go over there, you actually still get like nuclear scans and stuff like that. When you go over there to that area. So she turns into similar what they turn into with salt, which is preserved. So it's a monument. It's a monument of the judgment of Sodom and Gomorrah. Okay, so, and I'm gonna keep building my argument on that she was from there based on what she taught her children. Based on what was going on in that town.
Well, now it makes sense. The daughters, the son-in-laws, it all kind of makes sense.
Yeah, they didn't want to leave. All right, verse 27. Abraham got up early in the morning to the place where he stood before Yahuwah, and he looked toward Sodom and Gomorrah, and toward all of the land of the plains. And behold, and lo, the smoke of the country went up as the smoke of a furnace. And it came to pass when Elohim destroyed the cities of the plain, the Elohim remembered Abraham, and sent Lot out of the midst of the overthrow, when he overthrew the cities in which Lot dwelt. So it was not because of Lot's righteousness, it was because of Abraham. And Lot went up out of Zoar and dwelt in the mountain, and his 2 daughters with him, for he feared to dwell in Zoar. And he dwelt in a cave, he and his 2 daughters. And the firstborn said unto the younger, our father is old, and there is not a man of the earth to come unto us after the manner of all the earth. Come, let us make our father drink wine, and we will lie with him, that we may preserve seed of our father. And they made their father drink wine that night. And the firstborn went in and lay with her father. Let us make him drink this wine also. Drink wine, huh? I did.
Yes. You're on 33.
And they made their father drink wine that night, and the firstborn went in and lay with her father. And he perceived not when she lay down, nor when she arose. And it came to pass on the morrow that the firstborn said unto the father, Behold, I lay yesterday. Okay, by ye yourself.
Do you have a microphone that you can talk into?
Oh, yeah.
Please, please. You
I'm
rolling your
almost-
eyes at me, Maury?
Yeah, because I'm almost certain that you're the only one.
Okay, maybe I didn't clean my ears properly. I need to hear.
Oh, boy, I tell you. Hello? Hello, hello, hello?
I mean, it's not plugged in.
So what's not plugged in?
The stereo.
It's not-
No.
Yeah, it is.
It will light up. Like the whole stereo itself is not plugged in.
So this is all the board. This is plugged in. I'm not taught it. Hello? Can you hear me on the board?
Yes, I can hear you. I'm sorry. I have 5 children.
Oh, no, it's all good. It's all good. It's all good. I promise. As long as you can hear. As long as you can hear. All right. And Abraham got up early in the morning to place where he stood before Yahuwah. Oh, sorry. I'm down here.
34, right?
Hold on. And it came to pass on the morrow that the firstborn said unto the younger, Behold, I lay yesterday with my father. Let us make him drink wine this night also, and go in and lie with him, that we may preserve seed of our father.
That's just weird.
And they made their father drink wine that night also, and the younger arose and lay with him. And he perceived not when she lay down, nor when she arose. Thus were the daughters of Lot with child by their father. Yes.
Like, he has no wife. Like, there's just no way that you don't know that something is going down. Like, how drunk can you be? Like, you would have to be blacked out. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, you know something is happening. That's weird.
Sean, you disagree? You got that?
Okay, I heard.
Blackout drunk and violent, their body is still affected by touch.
Stimulation. Yeah. I didn't know that, because I was gonna ask the same question. I was like,
I didn't hear what he said.
he said that you could be blacked out and the male body will still function.
That's what I was saying. I know that part. Even, you know, that's how I was like, he would have had blacked out. So my question is, how are you getting drunk like this 2 times in a row? Like the first night you didn't think to yourself like,
I mean, he could have been drinking because of sorrow.
well, I was about to say that too. Like, was he in grief? Like, what
Yeah, he
allowed
was in
him
grief.
to, you know, be so drunk? With your daughters?
My question was, if they went to another city, were there not people in the city?
I was gonna ask y'all, though. So they left Zoar and went to the mountain. Who was in Zoar?
Right. For them to be distressed, like, oh my God, we're not gonna never find nobody.
I don't think they got much in their brain.
Like, do you not understand? But my thought would be, are you about to look that up, Shimon? Hold on, Larry. So another question would be, why do they think that was okay?
Yeah, like that's weird.
And if Zoar wasn't destroyed, that means that
There were still people.
people around somewhere that y'all could have, okay, but it's just, so those are
And
the
my
orders
question is,
of Sodom and Gomorrah.
why did the creator allow them to get pregnant? Because he's the one who opens the womb. So why did he allow it?
I mean, I'm sure later down the line, they gonna find somebody alive,
Yeah,
a
they
more
can
righteous somebody.
but
No, I mean, that's the question to be asked, for Dawid in his situation. About, slow mo, you have to be born, but you just let it happen.
Well, he let the first one die, so
well, the first one had to die, but,
that's what I'm saying, why did he allow
well,
them to get?
that was judgment.
Why did they get judged? You laid with your man.
Ooh,
Yeah, what happened?
Right, you found something good.
I don't see it like in birds or anything, but looking at the map, they have some unoccupied. Yeah,
Oh, so they had
because
giants,
it's still in that valley,
10,
part of the,
so it was just giants in the land. Well, possibly,
because it's right there in the Jordan River Palaces.
And that's the another reason why he allowed it to happen. Cause you
so
don't want
possibly there were
giants,
giants in the land. But as far as why did he allow it to happen, I mean, just, I don't know, I can't speak to that, but I do know,
like, what did Lot, it doesn't really say what he said. Like,
what afterwards,
yeah, like both my daughters are now pregnant. Like
And I know
that,
they were not known to me.
right, so. It's just a lot of holes that, yeah,
Lot is not.
that's what he got, but yeah, it's a lot.
But, yes, so thus were both the lots of daughter with child by their father. And the firstborn bore a son and called his name Moab, the same as the father of the Moabites unto this day. And the younger she also bore a son and called his name Ben-Ami. The same as the father of the children of Ammon or Ammon unto this day. So the Ammonites and the Ammonites and the Moabites. What is significant about the Ammonites and the Moabites when it comes to Israel? Yes, sir.
I know with us going into the land, they have their own parents there, so we were allowed to displace them. At the same time, we were allowed to be amongst us.
Okay, we were not allowed to displace them when we were in the wilderness. I'm gonna say the next one in a second. What you gonna say?
Yeah, I was gonna say, the Moabites aren't allowed to go in the congregation. So,
Absolutely. So the Moabites and the Ammonites are not allowed to go into the congregation of Israel. And what that means is they are not allowed to marry to Israel. So we are not allowed to marry them because incest produces
Retardation.
mutations in the bloodline.
is there any concrete information that says who those relations are?
Now, a lot of speculation is that they're Asians, but yes.
Supposed to be some. Is it, okay, so. I never heard of it.
Well, they say Asians based on incest producing a Down syndrome, and it be the look, I'm just telling you what they say. They said that it produces Down syndrome in Iceland is a key identifier of that. So I'm not saying that's true, or not. I'm telling you what they say, who Ammon and whatever. Okay. All right, let's go to chapter 2. Get off that. Okay. And Abraham journeyed from thence toward the south country, Shabbat Shalom, Vagisha, Eliezer. And Abraham journeyed from thence toward the south country and dwelled between Kadesh and Shur and sojourned in Gerar. And Abraham said of Sarah his woman, she is my sister. And Abimelech, king of Gerar, sent and took Sarah. But Elohim came to Abimelech in a dream by night and said to him, behold, you are but a dead man. For the woman, most high is it? Yes. For the woman which you have taken, for she is a man's woman. But Abimelech had not come near her. And he said, Adonai, will you slay also a righteous nation? Said he not unto me, she is my sister? And she, even she said herself, he is my brother. In the integrity of my heart and innocence of my hands have I done this. And Elohim said unto him in a dream, yeah, I know that you did this in the integrity of your heart, for I also withheld you from sinning against me. Therefore suffered I not you to touch her. Now therefore restore the man his woman, for he is a prophet, and he shall pray for you, you shall live. And if you restore her not, know that you shall surely die, you and all that are yours. Therefore Abimelech rose early in the morning, and called all his servants and told all these things to their ears, and the men were sore afraid. Then Abimelech called Abraham and said unto him, what have you done unto us? And what have I offended you that you have brought on me and on my kingdom a great sin? You have done deeds unto me that ought not to be done. And Abimelech said unto Abraham, what saw you that you have done this thing? And Abraham said, because I thought surely the fear of Elohim is not in this place, and they will slay me for my woman's sake. And yet indeed she is my sister. She is the daughter of my father, but not the daughter of my mother. And she became my woman. And it came to pass, when Elohim caused me to wander from my father's house. I know, hold on. Called me to wander from my father's house, and I said unto her, this is your kindness which you shall show unto me. And every place where we shall come, say of me, is my brother. Okay, Cole.
Okay, so when is the incest a thing?
What,
When is incest a thing?
Same mother.
So it's only incest of our mom's thing?
No, so this,
I'm just asking, I just need to know.
let me just get out of the questions. Go ahead,
I
sis.
don't think that was his sister. I think when he said his father house, I think,
He said,
Abraham's father's name for so when his, no, it's Terah. I think he's talking about like his father's side.
Yeah.
But Sarah's not indeed his sister. He's talking about like on his father's side, you know what I'm saying?
yeah, I get what you're saying. Like, give me a second. I'll come back to it. When Akila and Ishmael together.
So from the understanding, the whole thing was before the law was written, so after the law. I said, you should not be with your sister. I don't know if that has any 2 cents.
No, that's totally, it's definitely,
They had the same.
definitely still is.
She said definitely still incest.
Yeah, no, it is, but I'm saying like, for the rules of the law, they
Yeah.
were doing that and then after.
Stop. Okay.
Yeah.
Which, yes.
Then-
Which we're gonna get into. It was culturally permitted in that particular region. Go ahead, Shmuel.
I was just gonna say, during the definition of the genealogy, I want to clear up exactly what her relation was to Abraham. Her sister was actually mentioned in the genealogy in Bereshit, where it goes through all the way to Shem. That's where it ends with Abraham.
Okay.
Because she actually had a second name.
Are you talking about 11?
That's it.
I see. Okay, now the generations, these are the generations of Terah. Terah, we got Abram, Nachor, and Haran. Haran, we got Lot, or Lot, and Haran died before his father Terah in the land of his nativity, the earth Caspi. Abraham and Nachor took their woman. The name of Abram's woman was Sarah. The name of Nachor's woman was Milcah, the daughter of Haran. So Milcah is Haran's niece.
Wait, I was saying, in the, Leviticus it says that the father's wife, daughter brought forth by your father is your sister.
Yeah, they're not supposed to. What they did should not have happened. And the nation of Israel,
Okay.
in the nation of Israel, that no longer is supposed to. Now, previously, that occurred quite often.
I'm just trying to understand. So, if it's, in that time frame, it was allowed for Sarah and Abraham. I'm not saying it's okay, I think it's crazy, but maybe that is why they weren't so much punished, the daughter.
as far as Lois.
Yeah,
Now, with Lois, you don't see a precedent for that. We see, Haran marrying his niece. So we see like going one under. We don't see daughters and father.
okay,
That's something different. Like even, Isaac married his cousin.
right.
So we see like family dealing with each other. We just don't see son messing with mom or something like that. Like Reuben did that prior to the law, and Reuben got in trouble, right? Well, that was a stepmom, but still, even the stepmom.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, so we don't see that type of relationship. We see like uncle and niece. That's
So what,
all.
But it
what
says-
I think was, that was like his distant cousin?
No, that was his cousin. That was Sarah, that was Rebecca's brother's. Dang, hold on. Rebecca is, so that was Sarah's brother's daughter. So that's first cousin.
Okay.
So that was first cousin there. Swami, you had your hand up again? Hold on, somebody online, and then I got you. Somebody said something? Yes, Kenny?
If a man takes his sister, his father's daughter, or his mother's daughter, then that is to be cut off too.
Okay,
So it
yeah, it
is
doesn't,
your father.
there's no such thing as stepsister.
Okay, that's what I was thinking.
There's no such thing as stepsister or stepbrother. If that's your, if one of your parents got a baby, that's your brother, that's your sister. We don't, but we no longer deal with our families like that.
But it's say in-laws.
What do you mean?
Divorce is for in-laws.
Okay.
What about,
Like father-in-law, like mother-in-law, right? Yeah.
what about a situation, all right, you have a guy who marries, a woman, and then father, he's divorced, and he marries, the mother of his son's wife. That work, or?
I got something. What he said is, so,
Some mother first.
okay, marrying your father, marrying your mother-in-law.
Yes.
Yeah, that's not against, it'd be weird, that's not against the law. Because that happens after the, production of offspring. But yeah, so this is not to happen in this right here, just to make that. All right, we are in Bereshit 20. Hello, I knew somebody was talking over here. Okay.
Shalom, Mark. I just wanted to, not for nothing, just wanted to add that sometimes in the customs of the writings and the scriptures that you'll see the grandfather calling the grandkids sons. You know, right? You see the similarity of sons. But sometimes in the custom of writing, as well as daughters, there might be the grandfather calling their granddaughter daughter, or the grandfather calling sons, grandsons sons. Just wanted to add that.
Absolutely, that's the custom. I believe we're gonna read it a little bit later in another portion, but the Most High is talking to Jacob, and he says, Abraham, your father.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
so, okay, that's definitely cultural. We are at Bereshit 20 and 14. Okay, so, and Abimelech took sheep and oxen and men servants and women servants and gave them unto Abraham and restored Sarah his Isha. And Abimelech said, behold, my land is before you, dwell where it pleases you. And unto Sarah he said, behold, I have given your brother 1,000 pieces of silver. Behold, he is to you a covering of the eyes unto all that are with you, and with all others. Thus she was reproved. So Abraham prayed unto Elohim. Elohim healed Abimelech and his woman and his maidservants, and they bore children. Yahuwah had fast closed up all the wombs of the house of Abimelech because of Sarah, Abraham's woman.
Wow, you did the word. Oh, girl, that was long.
Yeah, he had it for quite a bit, I guess. Okay. Had it for quite a bit. Because it wouldn't take a day for you to know that you can't.
Right.
So I don't know how long, but quite a bit.
What was those numbers?
So he had it that whole time he did.
I don't know how she pulled that off, but
Okay.
you know. Woman of faith. Okay, chapter 21. And Yahuwah visited Sarah as he had said, and Yahuwah did unto Sarah as he had spoken. For Sarah conceived and bore Abraham a son in his old age, at the set time of which Elohim had spoken to him. And Abraham called the name of his son. Yes.
All of this happened from the time the guys came, but so there would have been just a year. Because he said the same time this year, I will be coming back and Sarah will be bearing a child. So that whole Abimelech lot, all of that happened within that year,
Okay.
basically. So that is the time frame. Like, I don't know how long it matters, but that's the time frame. Not a full year, but it'll be,
Some months.
yeah.
And nobody in the city get pregnant. And that's what. So that. Yeah.
And the elder sister saying, do you notice how many trials Abraham went before he actually got the promise that he was given?
Yeah. Take your mind right off of trying to have a child, huh? Okay, which is the same, I'm sorry, it's the same pattern as before he got the promise. So at 12, right, he leaves, Sarah gets taken, gotta save life. And he gets the promise, Sarah gets taken, and he gotta save life. Okay. Verse 3. And Abraham called the name of his son that was born unto him, whom Sarah bore to him, Yitzchak. And Abraham circumcised his son, Yitzchak, being 8 years old, as Elohim had commanded him. 8 days old, as Elohim had commanded him. And when Abraham was 100 years old, when his son Yitzchak was born unto him. And Sarah said, Elohim has made me to laugh, so that all that hear will laugh with me. And she said, who will have said unto Abraham that Sarah should have given children son? For I have borne him a son in his old age. And the child grew, was weaned. And Abraham made a great feast that same day that Yitzchak was weaned. So we see that the promise belongs to Sarah as much as it belongs to Abraham. It's not just about Abraham. It was about both of them. And elaborate on that. All right, verse 9. And Sarah saw the son of Hagar, the Mitzrayim, or the Egyptian, which she had born unto Abraham, mocking. Wherefore she said unto Abraham, cast out this bondwoman and her son, for the son of this bondwoman shall not be heir with my son, even with Yitzchak. And the thing was very grievous in Abraham's sight because of his son. So Yishmael and Yitzchak, they were just playing basketball, and she saw them. Yitzchak was losing, and she wanted to go. Right? Shlomo, what was going on? Yeah, we can go there.
He's sitting over at his crib or whatever, open microphone, you know what I'm saying? I was stretching in front of him. I don't know if that's what he meant by open birthday there.
Mocking.
Mocking, like he was playing, but he won't leave on.
Yeah, I don't want to do it.
No, that's real.
I want to do it. You guys speak a lot, but you can tell us.
I said because that's real. You have an older child. I was a only little cute baby until I was 7, and my little sister was born. I did a lot of mocking. I used to picture, I used to throw her. It's a lot of. But it's real when that age gap is so big because you're used to just being that one until a baby comes. You know, when a baby comes, they get all the attention. It's just a whole nother ballgame.
For him, it was even different from that because it's like, I know that I'm not an heir, like, I know that I am not the promise. So now the promise is here, what am I?
Right. Yeah, so that word means to laugh, to mock, to play, to make fun, to make a toy of, to toy with, to make sport. So, as Shlomo said, the story goes that he was holding a bow and arrow as if he was going to hit him. Arrow. So Sarah said, cast his bondwoman out and her son, for the son of this bondwoman shall not be heir with my son, even with this God. And the thing was very grievous in Abraham's sight because of his son. Verse 12. And Elohim said unto Abraham, let it not be grievous in your sight because of the lad, and because of your bondwoman. And all that Sarah has said unto you, hearken unto her voice, for in his God shall your seed be called. And also of the son of the bondwoman will I make a nation, because he is your seed. So, once again, we see Sarah, her voice seeming to be an authoritative voice in the house. So this kind of kills all the thoughts that the woman doesn't have a voice in the house, especially if she's a woman of faith and a righteous woman. Where her thoughts are also kind of coming to verse 14. And Abraham rose up early in the morning, took bread and a bottle of water, and gave it unto Hagar, putting it on her shoulder. And the child sent her away. And she departed and wandered in the wilderness of Beer-sheba. And the water was spent in the bottle, and she cast the child under one of the shrubs. And she went and sat her down over against a good way off, as it were a bow shot. But she said, let me not see the death of the child. And she sat over against him, and lifted up her voice and wept. And Elohim heard the voice of the lad. And an angel or Malach of Elohim called unto Hagar out of heaven, and said unto her, what ails you, Hagar? Fear not, for Elohim has heard the voice of the lad where he is. Arise, lift up the lad, and hold him in your hand, for I will make him a great nation. And Elohim opened her eyes, and she saw a well of water. And she went and filled the bottle with water, and gave the lad drink. And Elohim was with the lad, and he grew and dwelt in the wilderness, and she became an archer. And he dwelt in the wilderness of Paran. And his mother took him a woman out of the land of Mitzrayim. And it came to pass at that time that Abimelech and Pekol, the chief captain of his host, spoke unto Abraham, saying, Elohim is with you in all that you do. Now therefore swear unto me here by Elohim that you will not deal falsely with me, nor with my son, nor with my son's son, but according to the kindness that I have done unto you, you shall do unto me, and to the land wherein you have sojourned. And Abraham said, I will swear. And Abraham reproved Abimelech because of a well of water which Abimelech's servants had violently taken away. And Abimelech said, I know not who has done this thing, neither did you tell me, neither have I heard of it, but today. And Abraham took sheep and oxen and gave them into Abimelech, and both of them made a covenant. And Abraham set 7 ewe lambs of the flock by themselves. And Abimelech said unto Abraham, what mean these 7 ewe lambs which you have set by themselves? And he said, for these 7 ewe lambs shall you take of my hand, that they may be witness unto me, that I have done this well. Wherefore he called the place Beer-sheba, because there they swore both of them. Thus they made a covenant at Beer-sheba. Then Abimelech rose up and he called the chief captain of hosts, and they returned into the land of the Philistines. And Abraham planted a grove in Beer-sheba, and called there upon the name of Yahuwah El Olam, or the everlasting El. Abraham sojourned in the Philistines' land many days. So, somebody tell me, what is the Hebrew word for 7? Not you, Kathy.
Oh.
Anxiety.
Shema?
Sheba, that's the seventh letter. Sheba. Okay, so it represents seven. Sheba, right? So Sheba means seven, and that comes from the word Shabbat. Okay. Anyway. Shabbat, which means to swear, to take an oath, or adjure, right? So, where's some other places that you see the word seven, or that seven is involved? Yeah, seven counts of seven. And then, the Sabbath day. I mean, I promise it's not trick questions. Okay, Shabbat, seventh day, because of a covenant that he made, right? The covenant. You see that in Exodus 31 and Ezekiel 22. What else?
So like just Torah.
Or to not. Okay, well, he created in 6 days, on the seventh day, he rested, which goes back to Shabbat, right?
Yeah. This is just a trick question. What's the answer?
Other people are asking, go ahead, Jimmy.
I'd say, when they had a Hebrew servant, they were just supposed to work for 6 years, 7 years, they go out.
Okay, based on the, God,
When he instituted the Mishkan for them to build the ranch.
okay, Noah, okay.
If you had land, would you have let the land rest for 7 years?
You let the land rest, no, so when you first buy land, you can't eat of it for 3 years. The fourth year goes to the creator, the fifth year, you're able to eat from it.
I thought it was 6 years.
No, you're right.
7 years, let it rest.
Okay, so every 7th year you let it rest, which is, so all of that is dealing with the covenant that you're making with God. So usually when you see the number 7 is dealing with, it has to do with covenant.
Oh, isn't there 7 weeks between, Pesach and Shavuot? What's the day?
Yes, well, that makes 50, but yes. Yeah, so you get 7, and then 1. Okay,
Mercy,
mercy,
I say that. Yeah.
7 times 70. Okay, which is, yeah, all,
Daniel 2. Daniel 2 is 70 times 7.
okay, it's all based on covenant, right? Or the, stamped by Yahweh. So 7 is in conjunction with covenant and the creator. Huh? 7 what?
Rest.
7 day rest? Yeah, 7 days. Okay. Shabbat. Also 7 times more, he punishes us 7 times more in Leviticus 26 for our sins. All based on covenant. Let's go to chapter 22, just a fun chapter. That's all that was. All right, and it came to pass after these things that Elohim did try Abraham, and said unto him, Abraham, he said, behold, here am I. Here I am. And he said, take now your son, your only son, Yitzchak, whom you love, and get you into the land of Moriah, and offer him there for a burnt offering upon one of the mountains, which I will tell you. And Abraham rose up early in the morning and saddled his donkey, and took 2 of his young men with him, and Yitzchak, his son, and clave the wood for the burnt offering, and rose up, and went unto the place which Elohim had told him. Then on the 3rd day, Abraham lifted up his eyes and saw the place afar off. And Abraham said unto his young man, abide ye here with the donkey, and I and the lad will go yonder and worship, and come again to you. And Abraham took the wood of the burnt offering, and laid it upon Yitzchak, his son. And he took the fire in his hand and the knife, and they both went with them together. So Abraham said that we're going to go up and we're going to come back down together. So we see that even in all of this test, the faith of Abraham never wavered. Right? Verse 7. And Yitzchak spoke unto Abraham, his son, his father, said, Abi. And he said, here am I, my son. And he said, behold, the fire, the wood, but where is the lamb for burnt offering? And Abraham said, my son, Elohim will provide himself a lamb for the burnt offering. So they both went, both of them together.
Smart.
Yeah, he was smart. Like, yeah, we going to this mountain, I don't see no lamb. Yeah, I was smart because he see everything before the offering but the lamb. But it said that they went, both of them together, so that word is Yaqeen, so they were, joined in heart and mind. So they kind of were like, all right, well, I believe the Most High will provide his lamb, let's go.
But that also speaks to Sarah and Abraham, because Isaac knew the creator, when he knew what was supposed to be happening, what we're doing. It's not like he was far off from what was supposed to be going with God.
Right, because he said his father gave sacrifice to the creator. Yeah. Verse 9, and they came to the place which Elohim told him of, and Abraham built an altar there, and laid the wood in order, and bound his son, and laid him on the altar upon the wood. And Abraham stretched forth his hand, and took the knife to slay his son. And the angel of Yahuwah called unto him out of heaven and said, Abraham, Abraham. He said, here am I. And he said, lay not your hand upon the lad, neither do you anything unto him. For now I know that you fear Elohim. So did he not know that he fear Elohim? Is the Most High not all knowing?
Yeah, but it's different. It's different when the creator gives you something you desire. Sometimes that thing that you desire the most can lead you astray.
Or become an idol if you're not.
But he still didn't know.
I mean, but
So you think every time he tests us that he knows, right? But he still tests us anyway.
because you need to know.
I'm about to say he do that. That's
I'm not answering, I just want to see what y'all say. Okay. See that you have not withheld your son, your only son from me. And Abraham lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, behind him a ram caught in the thicket by his horns. And Abraham went and took the ram and offered him up for a burnt offering in the stead of his son. And Abraham called the name of that place Yahuwah Yireh, as it is said to this day, in the mount of Yahuwah it shall be seen. Now, I was gonna put it, You said I'm sorry?
It says provides for Yara.
Oh, well, and mine is
Provides.
It should just say, it shall be seen. Okay, now, when most people think of this passage, what do they think about? I'm not gonna say that. I was gonna say, I need to go back to our Christian mindset. But when most people think of this passage, what do they think of, okay?
No, small child, no,
What,
you mean, it's not
which one, Isaac?
yeah.
Well,
Both of them, both.
Isaac is grown man. His life. Most say he like 37.
When he went to sacrifice him?
What?
Yeah,
It says the lack though.
yeah, most say he like 37. I'm just telling you what they say. They say he was 37 years old when he was.
Well, I take that back, saying that he was smart, because clearly that's a grown man. He should know.
He should know.
He was just out. It's a different breed. What do y'all think of, like, stop it. Imam, what do you think of when you think of this passage? Like, what is usually connected with this passage?
So what do you mean what is meant when it's connected to the passage? I'm not sure I understand your question.
You understand my question. Don't nobody want to say it, but it's okay. I'm gonna help y'all. The passage of sacrificing your only son. What comes to mind?
Yahusha.
Okay, thank you. Like,
I didn't know that's what you were asking. Okay, I got you now. Okay.
It's okay, Imam.
You brought it out.
Yell at us.
Right.
When you get to sacrifice your only son, usually when people say, Isaac sacrificed his only son, it's a foreshadow of that. And what do they normally say is Yahusha?
like
Is it
lamb.
sacrificial?
That's not usually what they say. They usually say Isaac. But okay, we'll go with the ram. Now, that's my thought, is that this does foreshadow that for Yahushua is the ram, not Isaac. Isaac represents who? Israel. Isaac is Israel, ram is Yahushua, and Abraham will represent.
I'm not.
Huh?
Most High.
Yeah, I ain't saying, I thought you raised your hand. Hey, he represents the Most High. Now, I want to read y'all something real quick. So, wait, where did this ram come from on top of the mountain? The Most High provided, right? Okay. All right, so I want to get this phone. Give me a second. All right. No, I was trying to my phone. I want to try to read something. Okay. Anyway, all right. Perkeabo. Perkeabo, or ethics of our fathers. Right? Chapter 5, verse 6. It says, 10 things were, Perkeabo, chapter 5, verse 6. It says, 10 things were created on the eve of Sabbath at twilight. And these are they: the mouth of the earth, the mouth of the well, the mouth of a donkey, the rainbow, manna, the staff of Moshe, the shamir, the letters, the writings, and the tablets. And some say also the demons, the grave of Moshe, and the ram of Abraham our father. And some say also the tongues, meaning tongues. But some say that the ram of Abraham was created on the seventh day, right? So the Most High provided his own sacrifice. That's one reason why I would say the ram. The other one is, when is a ram used as a burnt offering? Anybody know?
Atonement.
Cain for atonement, that's why he cried, chapter 6, for the day. So a ram is used during the day of atonement. Any other times?
Ascending offerings.
Say it again.
Is that ascending offerings?
Is it a burnt offering?
Yeah.
Well, yes, based on, yes. That's Leviticus chapter 1, I believe. Any other time? Let's make sure that's the case. Okay, I thought it was.
You're not talking about guilt offering,
I'm not supposed to say that yet, but yes. A ram is not a regular burnt offering. So like in Leviticus 1, you'll find a bullock, then a sheep, and then it'll go down from there, turtle doves and stuff like that. But a guilt offering. So I'll just give y'all some. So atonement, as Sis said, the dedication of the altar during the new month, Kazmatso, first fruits, Yom Teruah, Yom Kippurim, and Sukkot. So all of the feast days, a ram is made as a ram is a burnt offering. Also, consecration. So the consecration of priests. So when you think of Yahusha, it says that he was of the order of Cain. So a ram is slain for the consecration of new priests.
That's when they do the thing with the blood on the earlobe.
Okay, blood on the earlobe, blood on the right arm, blood on the right big toe. Also, atonement. Adon said a guilt offering. So I want to read something first before we go to the guilt offering. So, also on the Day of Atonement, let me read this one. On the Day of Atonement, that's Leviticus chapter 16, verses 5 to 24, right? So I read verse 5. And he shall take of the assembly of the children of Israel 2 kids of the goats for a sin offering, and 1 ram for a burnt offering. Now what? Let's see what that burnt offering is for. Verse 24. Leviticus 16. Leviticus chapter 16, verses 5, and now we're going to 24. So Wayikra comes called Leviticus 16. And he shall wash his flesh with water in the set apart place, and put on his garments and come forth, and offer his burnt offering, and the burnt offering of the people, and make an atonement for himself and for the people. So the ram makes an atonement for the priest and the people. All right, now let's go to Yeshua, or commonly called Isaiah chapter 53. Leviticus chapter 16 and 24. So Yeshua 53. So when you all right, so when you speak on Yahushua, right, won't say that he was what kind of offering? He was a sin offering. That would be incorrect. So let's go to Yeshua chapter 53, verse 10. Yet it pleased Yahuwah to bruise him, and he has put him to grief. When you shall make his soul an offering for sin, he shall see his seed, he shall prolong his days, and the pleasure of Yahuwah shall prosper in his hand. What is the Hebrew word for sin offering? If anybody knows, if not, I'm gonna give it to you. It's close. Kata'ah.
Yeah, that's how.
So what? What about say kata'ah? Oh, okay. Kata'ah, right? This word right here is not kata'ah in Isaiah 53. It's actually asham, as Adam Shalomo was saying, right? Asham means guilt offering. So when you go to Wayikra chapter 5, or Leviticus chapter 5, this is, it's twofold. It's talking about the ram. It's also talking about, some evidence for why we believe. Wayikra chapter 5, starting at verse 14. And Yahuwah spoke unto Moshe, saying, if a soul commit a trespass and sin through ignorance, and the set apart things of Yahuwah, then he shall bring for his trespass unto Yahuwah a ram without blemish out of the flocks, with your estimation by shekels of silver, after the shekel of the sanctuary, for a trespass offering, or an asham. And he shall make amends for the harm that he has done in the set apart thing. He shall add the 5th part thereto, and give it unto the priest. And the priest shall make an atonement for him with the ram of the trespass offering, and it shall be forgiven him. So the forgiving of sins is through a ram for the trespass offering. It also is a ram on the Day of Atonement for a burnt offering, and the consecration, which brings those who believe into the order of Melchizedek. A ram also must die. So when a foreshadow of Mashiach ben Yosef, a foreshadow for Mashiach or Messiah, son of Joseph, is Genesis chapter 22. So that let's go ahead and end the Torah portion, Bereshit chapter 22. Okay. Does anybody have any questions on anything we went over before we move forward? Everybody told?
I think it was 3 items you said the ram was restored.
Oh, well, the ram for a burnt offering occurs on all the feast days. The dedication of the altar and the consecration of the priest. Right. And there's also a guilt offering. So when you look at the ram in Wayikra 5 or Leviticus 5 and compare it to what the suffering servant of Isaiah 53 is supposed to be, it matches up with the ram, which is in a foreshadow in Genesis chapter 22. Verse 15. or Bereshit, commonly called Genesis chapter 22. And the Malach of Yahuwah called us Abraham out of heaven the second time. Somebody had a hand up? I'm sorry, I didn't see it. Somebody had a hand up? And the Malach of Yahuwah called us Abraham out of heaven the second time and said, by myself have I sworn, says Yahuwah, for because you have done this thing and have not withheld your son, your only son, that in blessing I will bless you, and in multiplying I will multiply your seed as the stars in the heaven, and as the sand which is upon the seashore, and your seed shall possess the gates of his enemies. And in your seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed, because you have obeyed my voice. So Abraham returned unto his young men, and they rose up and went together to Beer-sheba. And Abraham dwelt at Beer-sheba. And it came to pass after these things, that it was told Abraham, saying, behold, Milcah, she hath also borne children unto your brother Nahor, Huz his firstborn, and Buz his brother, and Kemuel, the father of Aram, and Kesed, and Kazol, and Pildash, and Yidlah, and Bethuel. And Bethuel begot Rivkah. Wouldn't that make, that's a niece then? They weren't cousins. Because Bethuel is, that's directly from Abraham's brother, so that makes them cousins. Then Bethuel have a child, that makes them cousins, or would that make that like a great niece? I think that's a niece. Okay.
So who Abraham's
Brother had Bethuel, and Bethuel had Rivkah, or Rebecca. That would make Isaac and Rebecca uncle and niece, or cousins.
As cousins.
cousins?
As
Second cousin.
The second cousin.
He's staying by us.
Not any brother and sister, but that, all right, I'm gonna have to look that up. All right, okay, and his concubine, these 8 Milcah bare to Nahor, Abraham's brother, and his concubine, whose name was Rehumah, she bore also Tebah, and Gamah, and Tahash, and Maacah. Okay, so it's also giving you Rivkah's lineage. All right, so that is the end of the Torah portion. Does anybody have any questions in regards to anything?
You know, that's like when you're watching like a series on Netflix, and at the end, they kind of show you what's gonna show up in the next season. Because they just instantly, automatically, oh, guess what, your brother had children, and Rivka's in here, then you know the next.
Season.
That's crazy.
That
That is.
That just means that you gotta stop watching that. But, okay, all right, so that's the end of the Torah portion.
That's all you got for that. She gotta go.
Yeah, gotta stop watching. So what we're gonna do, like, I hope everybody really got that main thing. That's just bullshit for people who ask you why you believe. But anyway, we're gonna take a 10-minute break, then we'll come back and praise and worship. And I gotta. Okay, it can be a 5-minute break. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Anyway, we'll take a 5-minute break, just so I can get some water. Y'all can use the bathroom, and then we'll go from there. So 5:25, step down, there's the bathroom, get up. If not, I'm just saying.
Because you got it.
You do It's hot. Hot?
Is it hot?
Oh, that's the house like this, you guys all know.
That was up to 50.
The way you said it, your face was so serious, but they really have. Every time they answer one, yeah. I look around, I'm like.
I'll see you. I might actually do put my stuff. I will be grateful again. I will be everything. Follow your memory to let you know that we love you. We love you. I will be grateful again. I will be everything. Follow your memory to let you know that we love you. We love you with all of our heart, our soul, our mind. We'll serve you with all of our heart, our soul, our mind. We'll serve you. I will pray for you. I will lead you where follow your memory to let you know that we love you. We love you. I will pray. I will pray for you. I will lead you where follow your memory to let you know that we love you. We love you with all of our heart, our soul, our mind. We'll serve you with all of our heart, our soul, our mind. We'll serve you. All I said, I am one. All I said, I am one. All I said, I am one. All I said, if I be what God my name, with humble themselves and pray, and turn from their wicked ways. If I be oh yes, who I call by name, with humble themselves and pray, and turn from their wicked ways. If my people come on, if my people, oh yes, who I call by my name, with humble themselves and pray, then I will hear, then I will hear from heaven. I will hear from heaven. I hear from heaven. I hear and I hear. If my people, if my people, oh yes, who are called by my name, will humble themselves and pray, and turn from their hear and I Hallelujah, hallelujah. When I think about your goodness and all that you have done, hallelujah, hallelujah. As I walk into your presence, when your kingdom come, hallelujah, hallelujah. As I think about your goodness and all that you have done, hallelujah, hallelujah. As I walk into your presence, when your kingdom come, hallelujah, hallelujah. When I think about your goodness and all that you have done, you say, when I look at the presence, Lord, when your kingdom come, we say to you, God Almighty, you deserve all our praise. When I'm lost, oh, when I'm lost, yeah, you guide me, set me back in your way. When I think about your goodness and all that you have done, as I walk into your presence, when you keep the promise, you say, come on now. When I think about your goodness and all that you have done, you say, as I walk into your presence, when you keep the promise, we say to you, God Almighty, you deserve all our praise. But when I'm lost, oh man, I'm lost. Yeah, you got me, set me back in your way. That's when I think about your goodness, when I think about your goodness, and all that you have done. Hallelujah, hallelujah. As I walk into your presence, when you give the come. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. One more time, hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. We sing unto you our praise, and we raise up our hands, we praise, and we lift up our voice to you. For Yah be the one, for Yah, who brings us through, who brings us today, everybody say,
on that song, every time we said a word, we say that. I kept saying, yeah.
Don't sweat, I see.
I heard it. I was like,
Hey, y'all. It's Hallelujah, Ahavia, Obadiah.
I love those stories.
what's trust?
Okay.
What's trust?
Okay. Yes, Obadiah. Alright, okay. So, disclaimer. Do not be upset.
Oh, yeah, upset.
I was gonna say that.
Start off, man, then that way they don't know about.
Alright, can somebody tell me what citizenship is?
Where you go, what you consider yourself a part of.
Okay, I like it. Shlomo, you got too happy when I said that. Go ahead.
I would say citizenship.
You gotta look at somebody calling out.
Yes, Aaliyah.
When you were singing, you was like in the vibe, like, yeah.
Aaliyah, that was not a question. That was not the question. Go ahead, Shlomo.
I would say the citizenship is earned.
It's earned.
It's earned.
Okay.
But I would say the citizenship is when you are part of something and you know what I'm saying, you have to build.
Okay, anybody else? All right. Citizenship, I like that. Citizenship is a relationship between an individual and a state to which the individual owes allegiance and is entitled to its protection. Citizenship is a relationship in which the individual owes allegiance to that particular place and they are entitled to its protection. Let's go to the book of Wayikra, commonly called Leviticus chapter 26. Once again, y'all be all right. Wayikra chapter 26, starting at verse 11. Anybody else on? Leviticus chapter 26, starting at verse 11. And I will set my tabernacle among you, and my soul shall not abhor you. And I will walk among you and will be your Elohim, and you shall be my people. I am Yahuwah your Elohim, which brought you forth out of the land of Israel. Now you shall not be their bondmen or their servants. And I have broken the bands of your yoke and made you go upright. So the Most High said, I have, that's it, 11 to 13. So the Most High said, I brought you out, I'm your Elohim, you my people, and I brought you out of there, for you shall not be their servants. You are not the servant, you shall not be their servants. Let's go to the chapter before, chapter 25, verse 55. So you might cry 25, 55. For unto me the children of Israel are servants. They are my servants, whom I brought forth out of the land of Israel. I am Yahuwah, then your Elohim. So you are somebody's servants, right? Okay. And he gave you a land, he brought you out of Israel, where you were, quote unquote, citizens, where you had an allegiance to them, and brought you out unto himself, to where you are now his servants. Yeshayah chapter 52, commonly called Isaiah, chapter 52. Just go with it. Yeshayah chapter 52, starting at verse 3. Yeshayah commonly called Isaiah chapter 52, starting at verse 3. And turn on your hand, Cap. 52 verse 3. It says, I'm starting verse 1. Awake, put on your strength, O Zion, put on your beautiful garments, O Jerusalem, the set apart city. For henceforth there shall no more come into you the uncircumcised and the unclean. Shake yourself from the dust, arise and sit down, O Jerusalem. Loose yourself from the bands of your neck, O captive daughter of Zion. For thus saith Yahuwah, ye have sold yourselves for nothing. Ye shall be redeemed without money. Chapter 59, Isaiah chapter 59, verse 1 and 2. Behold, Yahuwah's hand is not shortened that it cannot save, neither his ear heavy that it cannot hear. But your iniquities have separated between you and your Elohim, and your sins have hid his face from you, that he will not hear. This is what he means by you have sold yourself, but not for money. Let's go to the book of Deuteronomy, our favorite chapter, chapter 28, verse 68. And Yahuwah shall bring you into Mizraim again with ships by the way whereof I spoke unto you. You shall see it no more. And there you shall sell yourselves unto your enemies for bondmen and for bondwomen, and no man shall redeem you. A couple of things. One, you sold yourself by the same token that we read in Yeshua, who was that? 59? No, 52, you have sold yourself and you shall be redeemed without money. This, all of those are about you have sold yourselves due to your sin, and no man shall redeem you or restore you to where you once were. No man or no ideology of man shall redeem you. So to whom do you belong? Huh? To the Most High?
Or to depend on what your mindset is. I'll say that.
What do you mean, sis?
Whoever you belong to is who your allegiance is to. So if your allegiance is not to the Most High, then you can't say you belong to him because your heart's not with him. So if your heart is with the things of the world, then you belong to the world. If your heart is with the Most High, your ideas, like you know what I'm saying, your thought process, your who you put your will and stuff towards the Most High.
Okay. So this captivity is quite different. Yeah, I'm going to go on. So in Egypt, what did the Most High free us from? Let me see how
Right. Answer the question right. You know you can choose us.
What aspect of us did the Most High free? Okay, he freed the physical. This captivity is going to be different or peculiar in many ways, because first, he's going to free you mentally and spiritually, then physically. So as a coach said, what your allegiance is to and so on and so forth, right, about where your mind is, right, that's one part. Okay. See how I say this. Adon Barwa, you can probably help me with this as well, right? If you're in, I'm gonna ask you this question, hopefully you answer it. If you're in prison and your mind is free, are you still in prison?
Physically, yeah.
It's okay. Would you like to answer that for me? Since I don't, but you try to.
I didn't hear you.
See, that means you're not paying attention, okay? I said, it's all good. I said, if you're in prison, but you mentally have freed yourself, are you still in prison?
No. You're in prison physically, but mentally you're not.
Okay, so that was the answer that So that was the answer that most of us gave, right? You are not there mentally, but you're in prison. That's real clever. But you are still in prison. Because you're free mentally, but somebody still tell you when it's time to eat, right? You're free mentally, but somebody still tell you when it's time to go to bed, when it's time to wake up, when you can go outside, so on and so forth, right? But you're free mentally. So have you deceived yourself?
Yes.
It's a question.
I don't like you to see yourself.
Hold on, let me, I'm gonna slow roll, and I'm gonna. Go ahead, slow roll.
I would ask, did you deceive yourself or did you elevate yourself?
Did you deceive yourself or did you elevate yourself? Okay, I guess that's a good point. I'm gonna answer that question after. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I thought you said, did you free yourself?
No, I said, have you deceived yourself?
I wasn't prepared for that. I thought you said.
Okay, are you good? Are you?
I like the way Shimon put it, right? If you, it's not deceiving yourself if you are aware, right? You know, you just choose not to indulge in that. In the sense of, I'm not gonna let this be a burden to me. So no, I don't think you deceive yourself.
Okay. You said something, which one coming? What type of question is it?
I would say no, because it's kind of like a process. If I know that I'm in jail for a year and my mind is free, then how I go through that process until my body is free is a whole different ballgame compared to if your mind is not free, then you would just close your eyes to this process, then you'll get out and you would still be in the process because you didn't prepare to get out of the process.
Okay. So I agree, and I agree with Simone. So I'll say you elevated yourself, but you still deceived yourself. And I'll tell you why in a minute.
You elevate yourself to be great. In a sense.
You elevated yourself in order to go back.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that you went back. Let me.
I'm not.
No, what?
Like in my thought process, it's like Daniel, when he was in a sense, bondage because of the situation that he was in.
We're actually gonna talk about it.
Oh, okay, but his mindset was that of the Elohim, like, you know what I'm saying, like, okay, yes, there are things going on around me, but I'm gonna focus on my allegiance to where it's supposed to be. And that will out. Right, and that will get me through the situation.
No, he got out of situations. Daniel actually never left that one, but that's not important.
But mentally, he was never in bondage either.
No, he wasn't. But since we're talking about Daniel, I wasn't gonna go ahead. But since we are talking about Daniel, let's read something from him. Let's read something from Daniel. And then I'll kind of let you know why. I get what everybody's saying, and I'm with you all, but then right. So let's go to Daniel chapter 9. Daniel chapter 9. In the first year of Darius, the son of Artaxerxes, of the seed of Madai, which was made king over the realm of the Chaldees, the first year of his reign, I, Daniel, understood by the books the number of years whereof the word God came to Yirmiyahu the Navi, that he would accomplish 70 years in the desolations of Jerusalem. And I set my face unto Adonai Yahuwah to seek my prayer and supplications with fasting, sackcloth, and ashes. And I prayed unto Yahuwah my Elohim, and made my confession and said, O Adonai, the great and dreadful El, keeping the covenant and mercy to them that love him and to them that keep his commandments. We have sinned, we have committed iniquity, and have done wickedly, and have rebelled even by departing from your precepts and from your judgments. Neither have we hearkened unto your servants, the prophets, who spoke in the name and your name, to our kings, our princes, and our fathers, to all the people of the land. O Adonai, righteousness belongs unto you, but unto us confusion of faces, as is this day. As at this day. To the men of Yehuda, to the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and all Israel that are near, and that are far off, through all the countries whereof you have driven us because of their trespass, they have trespassed against you. O Adonai, to us belongs confusion of faces, to our kings, and to our princes, and to our fathers, because we have sinned against you. Let's see, let me go down. Okay, so I'll just stick with that. So I'll stop at verse 7, where he said that we were driven out because of confusion of faces and all that. Why is Daniel praying? Why is Daniel praying like this if he's free mentally? Which I do believe, I understand. But why is Daniel still praying in this manner?
Because the circumstances are still around him.
Okay. Because although he's free mentally, his circumstances are still that of bondage. So until both are together or aligned, you still have an issue.
Correct.
Now, so that's why I say it's both. Because
Imagine how much harder it is to be in bondage mentally and physically.
yeah, that's where most of our people are at. We're in bondage physically and mentally, so now we are functional and dysfunctional.
Correct, okay.
But once you become free mentally and you see the dysfunction still around you, as in some of the things that we're about to discuss, then now you try to elevate your physical to match what you are spiritually. Right? So we are in a state of in between. So to whom do you belong? So let's go to the book of Genesis, chapter 31. Chapter 31, verse 36. Bereshit comes on Genesis chapter 31, starting at verse 36. And it says that Yaakov was wrong. So backstory, Yaakov leaves with his Nashim or women, his children, his cattle, everything. He pretty much just gets up and leaves. Laban finds out that he leaves and he follows him. Raquel also takes some of the household items. And now Laban is really coming for the items. So now Laban has searched to see whether or not Yaakov and them have stolen his items. Raquel hides them. So this is after she hides them because she's saying that she on her monthly and she can't stand up. Verse 36. Yaakov was wrong. He chose with Laban. And Yaakov answered and said to Laban, what is my trespass? What is my sin? That you have so hotly pursued after me. Whereas you have searched all my stuff, what have you found in all your household stuff? Set it here before my brethren and your brethren, that they may judge between us both. This 20 years have I been with you. Your ewes and your she-goats have not cast their young, and the rams of your flock have I not eaten. That which was torn of beasts I brought not unto you. I bore the loss of it. Of my hand did you require it, whether stolen by day or stolen by night. Thus I was, in the day of the drought, consumed me, in the frost by night, and my sleep departed from my eyes. Thus have I been 20 years in your house. I served you 14 for your 2 daughters, and 6 for your cattle. And you have changed my wages 10 times. Except the Elohim of my father, the Elohim of Abraham, and the fear of his God had been with me, surely you would have sent me away, now empty. Elohim has seen my affliction and the labor of my hands, and rebuked you yesterday. And Laban answered and said unto El Yaakov, these daughters are my daughters, and these children are my children, and these cattle are my cattle, and all that you see is mine. And what can I do unto these my daughters, or to their children, which they have born? So, quick question. What does Laban mean that these children are my children, these daughters are my daughters, these cattle are my cattle? Everything that you see is mine.
I would say it's because he's still working for the father, so the father sees he owns him, so if he owns him, he owns everything in his house and everything that he owns.
Okay. Let's go to the book of Exodus, chapter 21. Okay. Oh. That's just. Oh, 21. Start at the top of 21.
Oh.
David,
Yes.
what is it again?
Exodus chapter 21.
Oh, I thought it was 9.
Shemot, commonly called Exodus chapter 21. Now these are the judgments which you shall set before them. If you obtain a Hebrew servant, 6 years shall he serve, and in the 7th he shall go out free for nothing. If he came in by himself, he shall go out by himself. If he were married, then his woman shall go out with him. If his master have given him a woman, and she have borne him sons or daughters, the woman and her children shall be her masters, and he shall go out by himself. And if the servant shall plainly say, I love my master, my woman, and my children, I will not go out free. And his master shall bring him unto the judges. He shall also bring him to the door, or into the doorpost, and his master shall pierce his ear through with an awl. He shall serve him forever. So we have that law even in our commandments, right? Let's go to Deuteronomy 28:32. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 32. Okay, Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 32. Your sons and your daughters shall be given unto another people, and your eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all day long, and there shall be no power in your hand. So there shall be no power in your hand, because your sons and your daughters shall be given to another people, because they are servants, right? Your master owns all that you have. So is that the same today?
Yeah.
Okay, so you still don't have control over your own children.
No.
You said who?
Service.
For no reason.
And why can CPS take it away?
Whatever they need is appropriate.
Okay, because the government is truly the parent or guardian of your children. So once again,
That birth certificate ensures that for our government.
okay, when you sign the birth certificate, you sign over. Or if you're married and you have a marriage license, according to the state, how the offspring of your marriage belongs to the government. You are still a servant. So to whom do you belong? Where are you a citizen of, right? That's just your children, everything that you own, right? All right, let's go to Bereshit chapter 41. Bereshit chapter 41. Verse 45. Bereshit chapter 41, verse 45. Yes, I'm sorry. Good job. Bereshit chapter, copy on Genesis chapter 41, verse 45. And Paro, so this is after Yosef has, he's broke down the dream and interpreted the dream, and Pharaoh puts him in second in command, right? And Paro called Yosef's name Zovnath Paneah, and he gave to him to be his woman, Asina, the daughter of Potiphar, priest of On, and Yosef went out over all the land of Israel. What do y'all see there? Okay, ready?
Change his name.
Okay. How was he able to still change his name? Okay, he was still a servant. Okay. I think y'all get where I'm going with this. Daniel chapter 1. Daniel chapter 1. Verse 3. Daniel chapter 1, verse 3. Almost done. Daniel chapter 1, starting at verse 3. It says, and the king spoke unto Ashpenaz, the master of his eunuchs, that he should bring certain of the children of Israel, and of the king's seed, and of the princes, children in whom was no blemish, but well favored, and skillful in all wisdom, and cunning and knowledge, and understanding science, and such as had ability to stand in the king's palace, in whom they might teach the learning and the tongue of the Chaldeans. And the king appointed them a daily provision of the king's meat, and of the wine which he drank, so nourishing them 3 years, that at the end thereof that they might stand before the king. Now among these were of the children of Yehuda, Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, unto whom the prince of the eunuchs gave names, for he gave unto Daniel the name of Baal Teshazar, and to Hananiah the name of Shadrach, and to Mishael the name of Meshach, and to Azariah Abednego. So we see in Daniel, you guys hear me? So we see in Bereshit, Yosef, even though he's second in command, he still is under rulership and his name is able to be changed. See in Daniel, under somebody else's rule, his name is to be changed. Now I'm sure all of us know when we got over here, our name is changed. Has anybody ever changed their name back to anything from where we came?
How would you know what to change your name back?
We're gonna get to that. No, right? So your name is still that which was given to your oppressors. Most of our last names are go back. It was those who owned you who gave you your last name, right? To whom you belong. Nothing belongs to you. Now how about your land? Deuteronomy chapter 28. Let's go back to 28. 63 to 65. Deuteronomy chapter 28. 63 to 65, and it reads, and it shall come to pass that as Yahuwah rejoiced over you to do you good and to multiply you, so Yahuwah will rejoice over you to destroy you and to bring you to naught. Ye shall be plucked from off the land, whether you go to possess it. And Yahuwah shall scatter you among all people, from the one end of the earth even unto the other. And there you shall serve other mighty ones which you nor your fathers have known, even wood and stone. And among these nations shall you find no ease, neither shall the sole of your feet have rest. For Yahuwah shall give you there a trembling heart and failing of eyes and sorrow of mind. That's even in your own houses, right? Among the nations where you shall go. Does anybody own their house here? Okay, property tax, right? So does anybody own the land that their house is on? Okay. So can you own the land that your house is on?
Yeah, if they want to take it from you, they'll figure a way.
So there's something called does anybody online want to answer that? Can you own the land that your house is on if you bought your house? No.
I mean, if you have the deed for it.
So the deed, okay, so the deed just means that you are a tenant. You are a tenant that pays a lower amount of rent. What you said, Don Barba?
Property taxes, and for your vehicle too, in Virginia.
And if you don't pay it.
And if you don't pay it, there's consequences.
Okay.
That's what I was gonna say. If you don't pay them taxes, you don't own it. They will take it from you.
Yep.
Taylor is Shabbat Shalom, by the way. Taylor, don't.
This is what they call it eminent domain as well. So even if you did do all of that, if your house is in an area that is provided to the city or state trying to do, there's ways they can legally take the house, because that's not it was like
Eminent domain, right? Now, has anybody ever heard of a thing called an allodial title? Allodial title. So as Adon Barawat said, your deed just means that you are a tenant paying a lower amount of rent, right? And allodial title means that you own your land in your house and you don't pay property tax. You can actually achieve one of these things, but you have to be at a certain status in order to do so. You have to be a citizen of something higher than the land that you're in right now. It's called an allodial title, just in case anybody want to look it up. I promise you not lying. Allodial title. So let's go to Jeremiah chapter 29, 4 through 7. Jeremiah chapter 29, verse 4 through 7. Jeremiah, commonly called Jeremiah, chapter 29, verse 4 through 7. Thus says Yahuwah Zebaoth, the Elohim of Israel, unto all that I carried away captives, remember that, whom I have caused to be carried away from Jerusalem unto my bed. Build ye houses and dwell in them, plant gardens and eat the fruit thereof. Take ye women and beget sons and daughters, and take women for your sons and give your daughters to men, that they may bear sons and daughters, that ye may increase there and not diminish. And seek the peace of the city where I have caused you to be carried away captives, and pray unto Yahuwah for the peace thereof you shall have peace. The Most High is telling you to be a captive in this particular instance. He's telling them to be a good captive, because you're going to be a captive. Not gonna own the land, you ain't gonna own nothing there. You're there temporarily. So build your houses. That's why he said he didn't say buy land. He said build your houses, so on and so forth, and then 70 years, then you're gonna be gone. So we don't own our children. We don't own our names. We don't own our land. But we say we're children of God. Let's get to the restored vision. Yeshua chapter 65. Isaiah chapter 65. Verse 17. Let me get that real quick. Okay, chapter 65, verse 17. For behold, I create renewed heavens and a renewed earth, and the former shall not be remembered nor come to mind. But be ye glad and rejoice forever in that which I create. For behold, I create Jerusalem, and rejoicing in her people a joy. And I will rejoice in Jerusalem and joy in my people. And the voice of weeping shall be no more heard in her, nor the voice of crying. There shall be no more thence an infant of days, nor an old man that has not filled his days. For the child shall die in 100 years, but the sinner being 100 years shall be accursed. And they shall build houses and inhabit them. They shall plant vineyards, and they shall eat the fruit of them. They shall not build and another inhabit. They shall not plant and another eat. For as the days of a tree are the days of my people, and my elect shall enjoy the work of their hands. They shall not labor in vain, nor bring forth for trouble, for they are the seed of the blessed, of Yahuwah, and their offspring with them. And it shall come to pass that before they call, I will answer, and while they are speaking, I will hear. The wolf and the lamb shall feed together, and the lion shall eat straw like the bullock. The dust shall be of the serpent's feet. They shall not hurt nor destroy in all my holy mountain, says Yahuwah. So this is speaking of us being in charge of that which we make, and that which we build, and our offspring. We will be in control of our offspring, right? Sis asked, so what do we know what to change our name to? Let's go to Isaiah chapter 44. Isaiah chapter 44, verse 1. Yeshua, commonly called Isaiah chapter 44. Yet now hear, O Yaakov, my servant, and Yisrael, whom I have chosen. Thus saith Yahuwah, which that made you and formed you from the womb, which will help you. Fear not, O Yaakov, my servant, and you, Yasharon, whom I have chosen. For I will pour water upon him that is thirsty, and floods upon the dry ground. I will pour my ruach upon your seed, and my blessing upon your offspring. And they shall spring up as among the grass, as willows by the water courses. One shall say, I am Yahuwah. Another shall call himself by the name of Yaakov. And another shall subscribe with his hand unto Yahuwah. And surname himself by the name of Israel. What is the surname? Okay. So these are the names in which we will be changing our names unto. The surname of Israel. You will be redeemed. Okay.
So that means like everyone will have one of those two names.
What is it? Yaakov? They'll call themselves by the name of Yaakov. They'll call themselves by the name of Yaakov, but really it's the surname of Israel. Because your last name in slave days would be given to you by who?
Your master.
Your master. So if you surname yourself Israel, you're saying that really I belong to Yahuwah. That's why he said, I am Yahuwah. My family name is now Israel.
Oh.
That's where I come from. So speaking of restoring your name, restoring your family name, right? Hosea or Hosea chapter 2, verse 23. This verse 23. And I will sow her unto thee in the earth. Or Hosea chapter 2, 23. I will have mercy upon her that had obtained no mercy. And I will say to them which were not my people, you are my people. They shall say, you are my Elohim. So this is speaking of, once again, restoring yourself from a servant or 3/5 of a person to actually being a person. Okay. So what I was saying earlier in regards to who do you owe your allegiance to? And pretty much who you are a servant to, because a citizen is a servant of, wherever they belong, that's why you pay taxes to them, right? In the nation or in our constitution, what would be taxes in a sense? Your tithes.
10%.
Okay, you'll pay that to our quote unquote government or the priesthood. Okay, so instead of paying taxes to the priesthood, we pay taxes to the government. That's what I do for that. Yeah. So I say all that to say, yes, you can be free mentally, but there's something that we have to do in order to redeem our status back as citizens of the kingdom and not bondmen and bondwomen of wherever we are in captivity. So mentally is not enough. We both mentally and physically, spiritually and physically must be a God in our status as a service of the Most High God. There's a process for that, and we'll get into the process once I'm able to really break it down. But according to our scriptures, who you are under and who you are serving with, that's who owns you. So, does anybody have any questions in regards to that?
Yeah, what was the two scriptures we just read?
Yes, you got Hosea, that was chapter 2, verse 23. Yeah, that was 2 verse 3. Anybody online have any questions?
This lesson, go back to what we were talking about, 75 nature partners.
I'm not sure. At what part?
75 nature partners.
Oh,
So pretty much to summarize, are you saying that since we haven't been redeemed yet, we so what's summarize what you saying?
so to summarize, right? We're only halfway there to redemption, because you have freed your mind, but your circumstances remain the same. So now you have to go through the process of being redeemed to where you are truly free. In the book of Exodus, right, he said he remembered Israel, right? Because they were crying out, they were in a humble state to match their forefathers. So once you have matched again the position of the forefathers, the Most High will then remember. Right now, we are still we're serving two masters. Right now, we're still serving two masters. Any other questions? Okay.
I didn't say anything.
Okay. Nobody has anything, we'll talk about the attentiveness first and foremost, all praise to the Most High God. That was part one of that particular lesson. I'll get into more later. Johanna, you said you had an announcement, I don't.
Adon, shalom, shalom, Mr. Shabbat, shalom. I know that the more put